I'm delighted to welcome my special guest of this afternoon to studio. She is New Zealand-born Nyree Dawn Porter. She made her very first stage appearance in Britain in pantomime some many years ago in Mother Goose with Vanessa Redgrave. We remember her probably best with that very famous role in the Forsyte saga. Nyree Dawn Porter has received many awards and honours during her career and was awarded the OBE in recognition of her services to television. And I feel there could be another award coming up shortly for services to pantomime, because it was pantomime that started it for her in Britain, and she's just finished pantomime again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're right. I was learning this part. You know, I'm here with this lovely play called Sweet Revenge.
What a wonderful title.
Isn't it wonderful? Frances always comes up with them, Frances Durbridge. And we're at your gorgeous opera house. And as I was saying to the lovely PR there, Kathy, what building should I see while I'm in Belfast? And we both looked at each other and said, you're in it.
More or less.
Yes, I am. It's gorgeous. It is a beautiful place. So while I was learning that, I was doing a pantomime, you're quite right, with Desmond O'Connor.
It had to be Cinderella.
It had to be Cinderella, absolutely. He's the definitive sort of Buttons, isn't he? And I was, well, as I have been told, my fairy godmother was the Tommy Cooper of the fairy godmothers.
Well, as I said,
I was a little shocked, and then I thought, well, that wasn't what I intended, but actually, now I come to think of it, that was what I was doing. And there was her spells, she looked as though she couldn't cross the road and catch the right bus, but actually when she did it, it was blazingly wonderful. That, you know how he used to be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And while I was learning this part, while I was doing this, I was learning this part of Faye, playing Richard Todd's wife for the third time. And that's all due to a man called Bill Kenwright, who single-handedly, I think, is keeping the British theatre, at any rate, alive. And he gets you to do these extraordinary things. And only, Bill, if you're listening, I did it. I opened on the Monday night after I finished the pantomime on the Sunday, and I'm glad I did it, but I won't do it again.
How did you ever manage to learn a part whilst doing, I'm sure,
with
at
difficulty,
least 2 performances a day in panto?
Yes, it was. Yes.
3, I suppose, at the weekend.
No, thank God we didn't. I don't think any of us did 3. I don't think we did.
You're lucky you went in Belfast. We're doing 3 in Belfast.
No, we didn't. We played for 6 weeks at a new theatre in Woking. It's very beautiful. And I was learning in between scenes, really. And I did have about 5 3-hour sessions with Val May, I knew I was in good hands. You know, I knew I was in good hands, as they say. Val May is a very experienced director. And again, the last time I did a Durbridge with Val, it went into the West End. So I know his work and he knows mine. But we were fairly staggered, and people kept saying to me, how are you going to do this? How are you going to manage? I kept saying, well, it's a bit of a laugh, really, isn't it? No, let's just jump in and see if I can. But at night, I thought, I'm not going to have sleepless nights about this. This will either work or it won't.
But it's working.
There's something wrong with me, I think.
No, I think it's a very brave decision, which obviously has paid off at the end of the day. Because Sweet Revenge opened last night at the Grand Opera House in Belfast to a full house and to what I believe was a rapturous welcome.
Yes.
Did you enjoy last night's performance?
Very much. I always do. I don't know how to make this sound anything but what it is. Every time I walk into that theatre, I get a feeling of déjà vu and a kind of there's an atmosphere you can touch, and I don't know why that is. It isn't just simply because the building is so beautiful. It's to do with the people who run it too. I think Michael and John have done fantastic work there, and it's one of the few theatres, thanks guys, where backstage is really as nice as the front of the house.
Exactly.
But it's mostly the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere in that place. It's just electric. You can touch it.
You've been there before, of course, haven't you?
Yes, 9 years ago, too long ago. Nothing to do with me. I was asked to come here 9 years ago, and I did the Chalk Garden, and that was very successful too. I love doing that.
Well, as you
totally
say,
different. I get variety, don't I?
Well, you certainly do. I mean, from the fairy godmother to playing the wife of Richard Todd.
And don't forget musicals. I did Sunday in the Park with George at the National. I did Stephen Sondheim musical. Great variety. I love doing that.
Can I go back a few years to, I mean, born and bred in New Zealand.
Yes.
And indeed had quite a reputation there, touring around and doing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Serious theatre.
Yes.
What made the decision for you to come to Britain?
I was brought over.
Who brought you? Were you kicking and screaming at the time?
Yes, just about. It's like the first time anybody offered me a professional job. Somebody's car broke down outside the theatre. This is absolutely true, so help me God. I do believe in fate. And this woman came backstage, and I was doing some repertory work, and she came backstage and said, "Are you interested in doing this for a living?" I said, "Do you mean getting paid for it?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Right, here's the address. Richard Campion, who incidentally is the father of Jane Campion, the well-known film director now, of the New Zealand Players Theatre Trust, is looking for a girl like you for this American comedy called Solid Gold Cadillac. Will you go down to Wellington and audition for it?" And I went down and got it. That's how I came to get paid for what I do.
Did you any formal training?
Oh yes, I've been on stage since I was 3. I mean, if you call it formal, yes, because I had a stammer, and my mother, who was a very artistic person and very concerned about her child, as most mothers are, decided that I really needed some voice lessons to try and crack this. I was a very nervous child. It comes back when I get anxious, incidentally, or when I get excited, as does the New Zealand accent. That's the only time I can think of. Not that I'm ashamed of it, but everyone says, "You've lost your accent." I said, "No, I haven't. It comes back. It definitely comes back. I can hear it, even now." But I was sent to my next-door neighbour, who was a voice coach. Her name was Mona Owen, and that's Welsh, of course. And she was a recent immigrant to New Zealand, and she taught me to crack this stammer by reciting, remember I was only 6, passages, and I mean large passages, of Shakespeare on the breath. So I got addicted to Shakespeare, so that when I came to play it later on, I knew all these parts. The first part I ever knew was Macbeth.
My goodness.
It's true.
What a start, mind you.
I know. I had an unusual,
advantage.
in some ways, very unusual childhood. Similarly, ballet. You see, I'd been doing ballet. And my teacher I had some very loving people who had a care for me, obviously, who said, "This very shy, awkward child is awfully good when we play the music. Let's play a lot of music and get her away from the wall a bit more." And that's how I started to dance.
Well, what's the story about the singing then, Nyree?
Well, again, that was to cure the nerves. You see, that was me. So I learned to sing, and everyone kept saying, "You have a very sweet voice." I'm going, "No, I haven't. No, I haven't." But I do have. I've got a large range.
My goodness.
So, when I was born, I was given some talents, as we all were, and I just had a sort of resistance to using them, I suppose. But since I have used them, I'm very glad they give people pleasure, hopefully.
Indeed they do, indeed they do. Stay with me, I want to come back and find out more about this amazing story. I'm delighted to welcome to studio today Nyree Dawn Porter, who last night opened at the Grand Opera House in Belfast in Francis Durbridge's Sweet Revenge with Richard Todd, who was also here some years ago. He's not here today, that's another story. Not talk about that. It's 20 minutes past 3. With me in studio today, Nyree Dawn Porter, and she opened last night in the Grand Opera House in Belfast in Durbridge's Sweet Revenge. We've been hearing the rather strange story of how she came from New Zealand, how she was discovered to be paid to be an actress, to be a singer, to be a dancer, all those things. And then eventually to come to Britain. Did I hear you dropping just in conversation a moment ago that a very famous name brought you to Britain from New Zealand?
Well, yes, J. Arthur Rank.
Just J. Arthur Rank?
Yes.
Well, how did that come
around?
around?
That came about because there was a search for a star kind of competition being held in New Zealand to promote a magazine called Cinema, and basically to promote Kerridge Odeon, which is the big cinema and theatre chain out there, and R.J. Kerridge was promoting it. And my mother and several thousand New Zealanders voted for me as being the most potential, new star of New Zealand, primarily because I think I was the only one they really knew, because I'd been on stage for most of my life, and I'd been touring around for quite some time then, doing everything, as you quite rightly said, from Shakespeare to review, and learning my craft that way, which is a wonderful way, because it means you also get to know your country. And it's not just like weekly rep. You play, each play was at least 3 months a season, you see, so you really got into it. And I got to know my country. So I won this thing, and they brought me over, and I was introduced to the starlet system, which was a total anathema to me. I mean, I didn't understand whether I was to it. I mean, if I felt hungry, I would sort of eat fish and chips in the back of the Rolls Royce they sent me, things like that, And I loved going to the pictures, to the cinema and seeing these wonderful, and wearing posh frocks. They persuaded me to cut my hair and shape it differently and things like that. But I really was not the sort of material that... I mean, they did think I was fascinating, but then I never ever did a film test for them. Because at that time, I ran into, rest his soul, that lovely man, Peter Finch, and he said, look, his hands were shaking. He said, I'm doing my first theatre play for 10 years because I've got my cards, I've got my ticket. They're cancelling all contracts. So I thought, well, they're not going to take me on. So I set about finding a job. And I had a letter of introduction to Hazel Vincent Wallace, who ran the Thorndike Theatre then. It was known as the Little Theatre in Leatherhead. And I went out there with this letter of introduction, you see. And she took one look at me and said, Kate, I see you've got all these qualifications as a ballet dancer because I'm ARAD, Gold Medal Solo Seal. And she said, you're very young to get all this. I said, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, And she said, will you choreograph the pantomime for me? Well, I've never done a pantomime, have I? But I said, yes. And she gave me she said, will you read The Fairy Queen? Prophetic, wasn't it? And I read it and I thought, this is boring. What can I make of this? Well, obviously I'll find a character and fix, try and, find it somehow. So I thought this person is incredibly selfish and self-opinionated. She believes she's so right about everything. And she's also very gorgeous looking. Who can I think of? Brigitte Bardot. So I dressed and looked like Brigitte Bardot playing the fairy. It was a hoot, I believe. But Vanessa was a wonderful principal boy and she allowed me to boss her around and tell her what to do.
What a panto that was. Vanessa Redgrave was the
and Donald
principal boy.
Hewlett was the dame. And the girl who played Vivian Pickles, who played Isadora in Ken Russell's version, that was the goose. What an incredible...
Yeah.
I mean, Hazel could pick him. You could say that, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
But really, that's how I started. And I went back to the Olive, who was the casting lady at Rank, and said, now, look, you're not going to use me, are you? So, and my husband... Oh, by the way, I'd got married 3 months before to a lovely actor called Brian O'Leary. And he was on his way to join me over here. So I thought, well, I'll get a place to live. And I found a flat in Cromwell Road for £7 a week. It smelled of cabbage. But I needed a down payment. I had £100 to my name. And he was on his way over. And I thought, well, I've got a job. That's fine. We need this flat. So I went to Olive and I said, how much is it costing you to keep me in the Waldorf Hotel? And she said, why? And I told her. And she was so stunned, they gave me the money. It wasn't very much, but anyway, and that's how I came to stay.
Panto to panto.
And the producer of that pantomime was a lovely man, God rest his. A lot of people I work with are dead. I can't stand it. A child, they died young. Charles Ross, and he was determined that I should do a review, and he put me in review. And a year later, I was in the West End. And as they say, I didn't look back.
Stay with me, Nyree Dawn Porter, please. I think this is going to be some story. We're heading now towards the news headlines at 3:30 with Hue and Cry. And they're looking for Lynda. Well, I'm here till 4.
Looking for Lynda, but Lynda found me, hiding away.
22 minutes now before 4 o'clock. Our 2 country songs, as always, out of the headlines. The Heart to Climb the Mountain from Randy Travis. Before that, Dolly Parton, And I'll Make Your Bed. Very big of her. I'm delighted that Nyree Dawn Porter is still with me. You said something very funny there.
What did I say?
She said this off air and she may not want to repeat it.
By Dolly Parton.
Oh, I said, yes, she's really putting herself through it, isn't she?
You don't agree with all that lifting and tucking and
stuff? Oh, yes,
stuff.
I agree with it. I agree with it if it suits you. I mean, I often look in the morning, I wake up and think, oh, God, I need a facelift starting at my toes, you know. But we all feel like that. But, I hate going to the doctor. I couldn't think of willingly going through all that.
I think I agree. If I could waken up and it was all fixed, it would be lovely.
Wouldn't it be lovely?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But to think of what she's putting herself through.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking before we came on air about, to me, you don't look any different than...
I paid her.
Going back to the Forsyth side.
Well, thank you, Grandma, for the nice
Honestly,
bones.
you really, really don't.
Well, it's good bones.
And you still look You look wonderful.
Thank you.
The hair. You were saying, it's a wonder you still have any.
I know, it's just great.
What, you put it through?
We see, I had a part Irish grandfather, and he had the kind of hair that one of those travelling salesmen, wanted you to always buy their elixir.
Yes.
He saw him, and he must have been the first one to be offered a commercial in New Zealand, I would think. He went up to him and he said, "You've got this wonderful hair. Will you please promote my elixir?" He said, "Don't be silly. I only wash it in rainwater and lye soap," which was what he did. It's difficult. But he had this thick hair, and I have inherited the thickness.
Absolutely.
Thank God, because I've been every colour under the sun. I prefer to use my own hair rather than wigs. Obviously, if I was playing Guinevere with ankle length hair, I should be so lucky. Then I would have to wear a piece, and certainly.
Do you take particular care of it?
Well, I try. Like I wash it and I brush it, and I try to condition it when I'm on the road like this. I try and give it a hot oil treatment. But very simple stuff.
What about when you're on the road? Or is there anything in particular? I mean, you're in the middle of now a 16-week tour.
Yes, I get confused. That's what I do most
it's
of all.
week 6, it must be Belfast.
Not when I'm here, not talking to you, not in the once I hit the stage, it's like, this is home. Right. It's always been the same. But
do you carry anything special with you that goes
yes.
everywhere?
Oh, yes.
That
pictures of my daughter,
right.
Pictures of my friends, pictures of my cat, a funny check tablecloth that I always carry, that I lay out.
In your
home.
hotel room?
No,
or?
in my dressing room.
Right.
No, hotel room's just where you sleep.
Right.
And very charming they are, but that's my workplace.
So this is what you bring with you from dressing room to dressing room. My goodness. Oh, you said that you believed in fate a little earlier. Are you a superstitious person? Do you believe?
I do believe in God, and I do believe in, without getting heavy at all, I do believe that there is a force that has control of our lives, but finally it is our ultimate decision. I think that's what he gives us, that he, she, it, the life force, God gives us this choice. The choice is finally up to us. And if we don't get it right, we come back and do it again. That's what I think.
What do you want to come back as?
I hadn't thought. I guess that's up to him.
I want to come back as a dog in our house.
Why?
Because our dog gets looked after so well.
I rather thought a cat,
I'm allergic to them, Nyree. I'm sorry.
I'm not. They follow me everywhere. I think I was probably a witch in a past life.
Let's talk a little about Sweet Revenge, because it's the very first whodunit, but is it a whodunit?
It's not a whodunit. Yes, it's not a thriller. So it's not sort of, oh my God, bodies are dropping out of the cupboard. Not that kind of thing. What it is somebody or some people or something nasty happens, and you have to work out who it is. And everybody has a motive. Somebody even worked out that it was me. And I'm not going to tell you who it was because it would spoil it. And the reasons they gave were so fantastic, really. So it's a whodunit. It's like trying to work out a puzzle.
Do you have to sign sort of a secrecy act when you leave the theatre so as you don't tell who done it?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Well, I hope anyone who was there last night
I'm sort of used to
won't.
Francis now. Francis is such a wonderful mind. He's an extraordinary chap. And we have got really the loveliest cast.
How many are in the cast altogether?
I can't count, but there's enough of them to play the parts. It's quite a big cast.
Yes, I reckon.
And again,
that
well done, Bill Kenwright, for putting it on.
Yes, because these things are expensive, getting people out and about, moving from place to place.
Yes, indeed.
Excuse me.
And they are. I think you're one of your critics, Charles Fitzgerald.
The wonderful Charles, yes.
Who is so urbane and witty, I think, and he sort of said.
I think that you fancy him.
I think he's got a very cute nose. But then I fancy a lot of beautiful men.
Right.
But he said it was very smoothly acted, incredibly smoothly acted.
Well, if Charlie liked it, that must be fairly good enough for everybody else.
I hope so.
I would think so. And he'll be back now every night, Nyree. He really will. Is the name Nyree? Is that your
given name? No one would make that up. It's true.
It's a beautiful name.
Nyree Dawn, and I'm not hyphenated. Somebody in the Bill Kenwright agency, I think, has decided I should have a hyphen after all these years of living here. I am not hyphenated. I was given 3 names at birth, and I've kept them. The only thing I've altered, or had to alter, was when I came to England. English people, I have to stipulate this, could not say Ngyare, which is the correct way to spell it. Can you say
that again, then? What?
Ngyare.
No, I'll pass.
Okay. If you start with the NG, it's at the end of the word ring. And if you start with that sound, you'll get the name. It's Nyree. Nyree.
Yes, well, why not?
And if you want to anglicise it, make it easier for them, you say Nyree.
I'm very glad you told us that.
That's how I got
What
my
does it
name.
mean?
Well, originally, thank God it wasn't spelled Naere. That means bog or shaky ground. but so Ngaire is the name of a bush which bears a little white star-shaped flower. The Maoris
Star-shaped.
never say anything in 2 words when, in fact,
20
40 will
of them
do.
do.
For example, Waipukurau is the river of many stomachs. You know. But I'm glad I was called that.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it's a
But
little...
it's really Jasmine. It's another name for a
Right.
jasmine.
Very nice. Well, I'm glad we got that one sorted out.
Mhm.
At the end of this run of Sweet Revenge, when you Belfast, wherever you're going after this, have you plans?
Peterborough.
Peterborough next. Have you plans? And why aren't we seeing you on television these days?
Please ask me to do something on television. I don't know why I'm not doing anything on television. Probably because I'm not doing programs that I'm suitable for. I don't know. I'd love to. I get asked to do a lot of television in Australia and in America. But I sort of would like to do some more.
I have a feeling, I could be wrong, but in one of these satellite stations, which I don't have at home,
Yeah.
they are repeating the Forsyte saga.
I would
at
like
the
them
moment. I'm nearly sure they are.
Yes.
You mean you haven't had any repeat fees?
No.
Oh,
Not
you
sometime.
check that one up.
Okay, I will. I will.
Just have a little look. You never
yeah.
would know. So what happens after this run?
Afterwards, well, I've done three jobs overlapping since September, and I'm
Right.
moving house, by the way, at the same time. I just told Kathy, the lovely PA at the PR at the Grand Opera House, that fact. Yes, I decided suddenly to say, okay, I'm up for my house. So I thought, oh, well, we'll move anyway. Yes.
Is it moving without you?
No,
I mean, at the minute-
we've got a week out. So I'm going to do the
Move
move
in
in
a
that week. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? I learned a part without rehearsal.
My goodness me.
But you see, I know Richard so well, and I know Val so well, and as I say, the company is so brilliant. I mean, they're just great.
So I think it's rest time then at the end of 16
Perhaps.
weeks.
Yes, but then I'm open to offers. And as you say, I'd like to do some
Television, yes,
Yeah.
because we'd like to see you back in the screen. Because at the end of the day, it's wonderful that theatre is being kept alive and that, as you said, the likes of Bill Kenwright is keeping it going up and down the country. But still, it's a
think
couple of thousand people a night instead of...
Yeah. I think in
Hundreds of
fairness, it has also been very difficult to work out because of the franchise problems in London.
Yes,
particularly.
who's doing...
So
Nobody would sign
television
for
has
anything.
been dead for a
Right,
long time.
Yes,
But I think it's time.
yes, so do I.
I keep getting people asking me this, so now I'm just saying, right,
Do it, organise it.
Organise it.
What would you really, if someone was to say to you, I can organise your dream for you, work-wise, what would you really like to do if it could be sorted out?
A dream job.
Yeah, something that you would really love and have had maybe a lifetime ambition to want to do, a particular part or whatever.
Oh,
You've
that's
played
a nice
so
question.
many parts.
Yes, I have. It's very difficult to sort of decide because I've had a lot of...
Very
I
good.
never think like that anyway. I always think, oh, that'd be nice, I'll do that. Or that's impossible, I'll try and do it. I love that. And I think that's also why I took... Oh, by the way, I never ever saw a camera before I came to this country. And I think that's ironical, isn't it?
Pick that up as you went along?
Yes, I just took to it like a duck to water, as they say, very boringly. And that's the medium that I had never known. And I've always found TV the most exciting. Yes, I think if you ask me what my dream is, it is to do some more work on TV.
TV.
I just feel at home doing that. As almost as at home as I am.
I
at the
know what you
Opera House.
mean. Well, I do hope that we will, just simply to let more people see you at work.
Thank you.
Nyree, it's been a pleasure having you with me this afternoon.